credibility as a result. What does she have to say in response? Donna Brazile joins us tonight. Donna, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Tucker, you know, what a great honor to be with you tonight after the Democrats did so well across the country yesterday. So I'm excited to be here, excited about what happened in Virginia and New Jersey, and excited to talk to you about my new book, Hacks. Let me just say this up front.
Wait a second. Let me ask you a question. Congratulations on your party success last night, by the way.
Thank you.
But let me just ask you this. I've been watching, because I've known you a long time, and I've watched you work for more than 20 years. And I'm watching people who know you well, journalists and Democratic Party officials, go after you. And the one thing I notice is that the attacks all sound the same. And my guess, and I want to ask you as a professional political person, it seems obvious that there was coordination, that someone's doing oppo on you in response to your book. Who do you think that is?
You know, Tucker, I don't really have time to figure out who is spending, I'm sure, some much-needed money that needs to go to Democratic candidates next year to figure out what I said in this book is factually correct. I want to tell you, I wrote up front, I wanted to write this book to tell my story. I wanted the American people to see what happened. I became chair of the party for the second time in my life because our party was under attack. We were hacked. That's why I was called upon to step up to become chair again.
Right.
And I think when you read the book, Tucker, and you mentioned it, we've known each other a long time. And we were colleagues once at CNN. The book it tells some hard truths. Because as you well know, I'm not just any Democratic operative, I'm an activist. I come from the grassroots. I care about my party. I care about the future of my country and our democracy. And as chair of the party, we lost an election last year. Many people thought we were going to win. And so I did a forensic examination of what we did wrong and what we could do better so that we can win elections in the future.
Well, that seems like a wise and obvious thing to do. It was an unexpected loss. Why not figure out why it happened? But you're not seeing very many people in your party go along with that course. And instead of listening to your analysis of why Hillary Clinton's campaign failed, they're attacking you and impugning your motives. The Hillary campaign, almost every member of it, released a statement accusing you of buying Russia-fueled propaganda. Jeff Zucker, your former boss over at CNN, was enraged when he read the book excerpt that ran in Politico last Thursday. And you're seeing your former colleagues say you're just doing this for the money. Why aren't they more willing to listen to the prescription that comes out of this book?
Well, first of all, many of those individuals who signed that letter, I know them. I've been in the trenches with them for more than 30 years of my adult life. And if I had to go back in the trenches with them next year, I will go back because I believe in justice and fairness and equality. But I want to tell you, when I became chair, I didn't take a salary from the DNC. I gave up everything. I took a leave of absence from CNN and ABC. The only thing I really went back to was teaching at Georgetown because I loved my students and I wanted to be there for them with a historic election on the horizon. Tucker, I wrote this book because I wanted Democratic activists, rank and file Democrats. Those are the people I listen to. Those are the people that I respond to. I wanted them to know how hard we worked to elect Hillary Clinton and other Democrats up and down the ticket. We came up short, as you well know, Tucker, less than 80,000 votes short in 3 states. Then tonight we would be having a different conversation.
Right.
We would be talking about Hillary Clinton's first year in office. Instead, we're talking about, you know, how the Democratic Party can come back stronger so that we can become more competitive in 2018 and beyond. And what I saw last night, I see a party that is capable of coming back out of the wilderness. I see a party with fresh faces, new blood, new energy, in large part because Tom Perez and Keith Ellison, Karen, and so many other people on the DNC, they are working hard to change things for the country.
But you haven't mentioned anybody who helped run the Hillary campaign. Robbie Mook, for example. Would you hire him to run the next Democrats campaign?
Well, you know, Robbie and I are both at Harvard, and one of the things when the Democrats win the popular vote and the Republicans win the Electoral College, people like us get to go up to Harvard and take a forensic examination of how we can improve our democracy. I went over to see Robbie last week. Look, I have great respect for Robbie and his team, but I was very tough on them in the book.
Before you go on, I know you were, and I want you to see what he's saying about you now on television. Here's part of it.
The idea that the DNC could rig a contest, frankly, is laughable. The allegation she's making there simply isn't true. We certainly don't recognize the campaign she describes. We also don't recall some of the events she said that happened. I'm sure her publisher put her under a lot of pressure. I wish she just put her foot down and said, no, I'm not going to do this.
So he's describing you as a hapless pawn of your publisher.
Well, you know, I'm the third of 9 children, and the one thing my parents taught us was to stand up, fight for ourselves, pray, and get up the next day. Here's what I know. I was chair of the party, but more importantly, I was an officer of the DNC. I've been a member of the Democratic National Committee since 1997. I know how things operate. I'm a former chair of the party. So to suggest to anyone that I don't know what I'm talking about, really, I'm not focusing on what Robbie is saying. I am focusing on making sure that grassroots Democrats know that our party is going to become stronger. You have to let these wounds heal. We had a very competitive primary. I don't know when the Republicans will sit down and heal their wounds, but we are healing our wounds, and we're going to learn how to become a stronger, more effective party in the future.
So here's part of what you say about Robbie Mook in the book. You said, I'm quoting, "I've worked with men all my life in politics, and I can sense when they get to this part about not being able to deal with a woman. It was not a racial thing, it was a gender thing. Every time you mention that they're trying to shut you down because you're a woman, all these guys are like, no, 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 no." So my question is, you're saying you were the victim of sexism from the management of the Hillary Clinton campaign. What was their response when you said, look, don't treat me different because I'm a woman?
Well, you know, I may have also stated in the book, I think I did in 3 or 4 chapters, that it was also generational. Remember, I come from the old school. I come from the school when you have a 3x5 index card. I come from the school, Tucker, that you actually knock on doors, you talk to people, you try to get their support, and then you try to get them out on election day. Robbie comes from a school that is a lot different than the school I came from. They do algorithms, they do data modeling, and when I would come back to
and they do sexism too. Apparently, from your book. Which is a little weird, since Hillary ran a whole campaign on breaking the glass ceiling, and here's the guy running her campaign diminishing you because of your sex. It seems ironic, maybe.
You know, it was dismissive. I don't, condescending and dismissive, those are the words I characterize in the book. Because I came back and said, Robbie, I just left Little Haiti, or Robbie, I was in Cuyahoga County, or Robbie, I just left Colorado. And I wanted the campaign to understand that we needed yard signs, we needed radio spots. You know, on August 19th, when Donald Trump said, what the hell do you have to lose? He made that comment in front of a black audience. Here I was, the chair of the party, and last time I checked, I am black. And I said, I want to respond. I had to write a column because I didn't control my resources. So I was fighting, Tucker, for what I normally fight for in a campaign, whether I'm a campaign activist or a campaign chairwoman. I am fighting for resources to get our message out, because my job was to help elect Hillary Clinton and Democrats from the courthouse all the way up to the United States House and Senate.
So you have this scene in the book that's been much remarked upon, where Hillary's really sick. You say she's overworked and she's got a bronchial infection, maybe pneumonia, and she's so sick that you have this moment where you think maybe we need to replace her. Maybe she won't be able to continue, and that's the point at which you said maybe the vice president would be a good replacement. That's such a big deal that it was striking when I read that. I thought, here there are 1,000 reporters covering this campaign, and not one of them picked up anything like that the candidate's health was that bad, that she was being considered maybe not able to finish. Do you think reporters knew that? How could they not know that?
Well, let me just tell you, I had a lot of reporters who were calling my office, calling my home, texting me, sending me emails. In fact, there was a reporter that I mentioned that broke the story to me that she had fainted. And I immediately called up to Brooklyn, and I tried to reach people on the road with her to find out if this was a rumor. As you well know, Tucker, with the Russian meddling in our campaign, and yes, it happened, there was so many rumors that you had to debunk. And so by the time I saw the video, when the video went viral, you can imagine what was happening within the Democratic Party, what was happening inside the inner circles.
Oh, I remember. And everything was fine. I remember that. Everything was fine.
Every 5 to 7 minutes. Hillary is a friend. I cared about her health. Yes, I cared about her campaign, but the last thing I want to know how she was doing. I want to know if she was okay. That's why in the book you read that I suggested that she get some acupuncture, because I like acupuncture. It helps me when I'm out there fighting.
Let me ask you quickly about the Russians. You have a lot in the book about that and your concerns about hacking the servers over at the DNC. If you believe the Russians did that, why didn't the Democratic National Committee allow the FBI to examine those servers? Why were they given over to a vendor and not the U.S. government's investigators?
You know, that is a great question, and let me tell you, it's in the book as well. When the DNC officer, who was Debbie Wasserman Schultz, when it was brought to her attention, she immediately reached out to get cybersecurity experts on board. She reached out to a former number 3 at the FBI who is currently working with a group, an organization called CrowdStrike.
Yes.
Along with our cyber attorney, they provided the FBI with everything that they requested. Remember, we were still using our system.
Come on now. Come on now. If you think of course, so bottom line is it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz who made that decision. I think that's the headline here. But if you really think that the intelligence service of a foreign government is breaking into your computers in the middle of a campaign, you want actual federal investigators to get to the bottom of it. But you're saying that she stopped that.
No, she did not stop it. She cooperated. She cooperated. She turned over everything. But Tucker, we were still running a party. We still had our mainframe, you know, being managed, being remediated.
But you could allow the FBI access to that,
Let me just tell you, we spent over $60,000 to provide the FBI and the government because we wanted their help. Tucker, after I received my FBI briefing in August, do you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to go over to the Pentagon. I didn't want to go back to the DNC. I wanted somebody to put yellow tape around the DNC. I was scared. We were under attack. And, you know, we signed.
Well, I don't know if we were under attack or not, because federal investigators never had access to your servers.
If you recall, James Comey went under oath and said that he was able to get everything he needed from the DNC.
He doesn't know
from this credible source.
He doesn't know that. No, because he didn't have access to your servers. He shouldn't have said that.
Why would we hold on to servers that were
I don't know the answer to that. I was hoping to get it from you.
Well, when I became chair, let me just say this. From the moment I became chair, we cooperated with DHS, FBI, CIA, anyone who would help us. We wanted help.
Yeah, but not enough to give them your servers.
Our country was under attack, Tucker. It wasn't just the Democratic Party.
No, look, I mean, we don't know the answer because Debbie Wasserman Schultz apparently wouldn't turn them over. So a couple of days ago, a Hillary Clinton supporter had this to say about you on this show.
I don't know whether Donna Brazile is a kook, but what she says is kooky.
Now, we're going to get your response to that next. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to formulate your response to Richard Goodstein. So, Donna, really quick, before I get your response to the clip we showed you before the break, when was the last time you talked to Bill and/or Hillary Clinton?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
When was the last time you spoke with Bill or Hillary Clinton, and how did the conversation go?
Oh, in the book I said I spoke to Hillary in February. I believe the date was February 10th in Baltimore when the Democratic Party was hosting its final future forum to elect new officers for the Democratic Party.
Right, but have you spoken to her? I mean, the reason I'm asking is every Democrat I know, the professional Democrats, from Jeff Zucker, you know, all the way to Jen Palmieri and all the people you've worked with over the years, all seem mad. And I know the Clintons are in that group. Have they complained to you or people you know? Like, what's the response you're getting?
Well, first of all, let me just say this. And last week, I reached out to as many Clinton staffers as possible to let them know that my book was finally coming out, excerpts. I didn't have to do that. I also flew down to Washington, D.C. to inform my colleagues at the DNC. Again, I didn't have to do that.
Right.
Look, I am a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat. And, you know, if they choose not to read the book or they decide to write their own book, I hope they will do that. Tucker, I read Hillary's book, What Happened. It's a great book because it's historical, it's biographical, and also as a woman who's been very, very active in politics, I thought she really examined some of the reasons why she fell short. So I suggest for those who are upset or not capable of stomaching my book, go write their own book. But I want to respond to that last clip that you that you showed me before the break.
The one where the male Democrat dismissed your claims of having experienced sexism by saying you were crazy, something I thought we weren't allowed to do.
First of all, my mother, when I was a little kid growing up, my mother used to say, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. But I want to channel another woman who I admire so much, and that's Michelle Obama, who said, when they go low, you go high. And perhaps what I did on Sunday when I told some of my detractors to go to hell, and as you well know, some of my conservatives know that I have always had a quick tongue. I've told people in the past what I really feel. I should have channeled Michelle and just go higher. I'm thinking now, Tucker, as you know me, and I've known you for a long time. We haven't gone fishing, but I got a lot of kids out there that know me, that believe in me. They know who I am. I walked the streets in Virginia with them just recently. They know that I stand behind them. They're up at Harvard, they're at Georgetown, and I want them to know that I am still the same Donna that they've always known. I'm feisty, I'm gusty.
Well, I've noticed that.
And as you
so
well
they've
know,
come
Tucker,
after you. They've come after you and said, look, it's a little much for you to criticize the DNC for colluding with the Hillary campaign when you conceded that you leaked questions to the Hillary campaign during a CNN town hall, before a CNN town hall. My question when I'm reading this is, did no one at CNN know that happened? Did they really learn for the first time when they read your book? How could they not have known that?
Well, Tucker, I surely hope everyone will now go out and buy the book. It's called Hacks, The Inside Story.
Hold on now, slow down, wait. There was a question there. Did nobody at CNN know that you did that? So you say, look, you apparently got them from...
Oh, no, Tucker, you cannot put words in my mouth. Look,
no, I'm just
asking. I got
asking.
on some lipstick from Fox, but that has not forced me to not stand my ground. I said in the book...
No, but it's not your ground. I'm asking about CNN. Where you then worked. You haven't gone on their air. They're mad at you, obviously.
No,
but did they know that you leaked these questions? Really simple question.
You know, Tucker, I said last year.
Sounds like they did.
No, Tucker, don't try to put words in my mouth. I said last year that CNN never provided us with any questions. CNN never gave us anything in advance. But what I did say, and what I've said in the past, and what I said in this book, is that I, as an officer of the DNC, and I know WikiLeaks gave everybody, certain questions and certain emails, but as an officer in the DNC, I sought to expand the number of debates. And I wanted to make sure that we had diverse voices and we covered issues that had not been discussed in previous debates. And what I did, give me one more second, and I know it's your show. I'm not trying to take over. But what I saw, you don't, Tucker, I know you too well. What I sought to do, Tucker, was to ensure that we had these issues on the table, and I made sure that our candidates, I didn't want them blindsided. That's what I admitted to. That's what look, what WikiLeaks put out.
That's the greatest spin I've ever heard. I didn't want them blindsided. Hey. That's so good. You should do this for a living. That is hilarious. Let me ask you a personal question. Hold on. In the book,
WikiLeaks sought to divide us. These were active measures where you got to see the things I gave to Hillary. You never got a chance to see the things I gave to Bernie or Martin O'Malley. And let me just
I'm totally happy. You bring those and I'll put them on the show anytime. In the book, though, I just want to ask you, this is a sincere personal question. You describe a number of occasions where you felt threatened personally, where you felt like you might be hurt by somebody, and you're not very specific about who might have hurt you, but it's clear that you were worried about it. Do you still feel that way? Are you worried? Are you getting threats?
This was an unusual political campaign season last year. And at night when Donald Trump, and I wrote this in a book, and, I've gone to church and said to, the God I worship, like, I am not going to hold any anger in my heart. But President Trump every night would go out there and say that Donna Brazile. And you know what? The moment he stopped talking, my emails, my Twitter, my phones, it got blown up. And yes, I got plenty of threats that were just, let me just say this, they were over the top. And
Are you getting them now? Are you getting threats right now since the book has come out?
Of course. When people see things that they disagree with, they don't just say, Donna, I don't like that. That gumbo is not the right kind. You're using andouille sausage, not the hot sausage. You know what they say? I must rather not have you or the gumbo. Tucker, unfortunately, we live in a world now where even appearing on this show tonight, even taking pictures with people I disagree with, People attack you. They attack your motives. And everyone who has said, Donna is making money, well, first of all, that's a good thing, because Donna got a lot of mouths to feed. But people are just questioning why Donna would write her book, because Donna likes to write. Please read the book. This is a great book, a wonderful
I believe
gift for
Amazon
Christmas.
has sold out of it,
Well,
but I'm sure they're
more
furiously
on the way.
restocking.
Tucker, you
Donna
and I got
Brazile.
to go fishing, because I have a recipe that I think will make your tummy feel really good. Let me just say one last thing.
Come back.
I worked very hard to elect Hillary Clinton. We fell short, but next year, watch out. Next year is going to be a blue wave, Tucker. I hope you have me back on the show.
Anytime.
All
Donna
right.
Brazile.